Hey guys, as promised, we are going to fill the new palette for the studio for watercolor. This palette is by Creative Mark. This is the lid for it. Set that out of the way. I've made myself a color chart to swatch on, and I've actually written the names of all of the pigments on here. After swatching, I'll go over with a fine liner or something to, not fine liner, yeah, fine liner to darken up the words on here so I know what's on here. And yeah, so a majority of this palette is going to be a Mission Gold Pure Pigment set. So I'm going to be placing those tubes back in this box once I've poured them. It's such a nice set. I go on and on about it, I know. But the two colors from this set that are not going to be on this palette are black and white. I don't need those on here, so I'm going to set that here. I've got a couple bowls of water, got something to drink. Let's get started. I think I will start here and down here. So the first one is Mission Gold Lemon Yellow. And if I can get it open. Listen. If I have any trouble, I have my handy dandy tube opener here. Start here, right? I almost screwed up first thing and put it in the wrong well. Right off the bat, yeah. If I can get the lid back on. Okay. There it goes. You know what? I'm going to scoot this over so it's a little easier for you to see. And then we'll do the swatches after they're poured. Let me check the screen, make sure you can see. Yeah, cool. All right. So the next one is Mission Gold Permanent Yellow Light. This is going to be such a convenient palette to just have out here on my watercolor desk, with the lid on it, take the lid off when I go to work, and have so many of these pure pigment colors to be able to pretty much mix anything I need, but also have these specialty colors that I love to have on my palette. There's plenty of wells to be able to do both. So the next one is Permanent Yellow Deep Mission Gold. See, this thing works so great to get tubes open when you have crappy joints like me, arthritis and whatnot. And I'm not overfilling these wells because I can always go back and put more in later, or if I ever want to change out a color, I'm not having to waste a bunch of color. Next one is Mission Gold Autumn Orange. Pardon me and my throat and my voice today. We've had dust storms here, I'm assuming from Hillary. I've driven through 2 dust devils in the last 2 days. I feel it in my throat. But this one is Mission Gold Red Orange. Now, after I get this palette set up and ready to go, the next thing I'm going to be doing here in studio is doing some practice with oil paint. So I've poured out another palette over on my big table of oil paints. I just have a cheap set, actually a couple of cheap sets. I've not invested in expensive oil paint because I am very much a beginner in oil paint. So I only started doing oil painting when I was down from spine surgery. So I've not been oil painting for long, and I haven't for a couple months. So I thought I would get back into practice with that. So this one is Mission Gold Rose Madder. And I have a list that I keep of the light fastness and the pigments that are in all of these just on hand. So I know when I go to use them what I'm dealing with as far as light fastness and things like that. This one is Mission Gold Quinacridone Permanent Rose. And I'll also have this swatch sheet taped to the lid of this palette so I can have quick reference to each pigment that's in here. The next one's Mission Gold Quinacridone Permanent Magenta. And I'm just putting them back in the box here as we go. The next one's Mission Gold Quinacridone Violet. And I like these wells because I'll be able to get bigger brushes into them as opposed to half pans. Half pans are great for travel and stuff like that, and for colors that you don't use often, but I like to get big washes of color, so these bigger wells are much better for me. Next one's Mission Gold Dioxazine Violet. I'm trying not to like geek out on colors and like talk about how beautiful every single one of them is, because I can go on and on and on and it probably gets old. But I love all of these colors. I think they're all beautiful. This one is Mission Gold Cobalt Blue number 2. And this palette's gonna look so nice here. Because it's a plastic palette, I did try to prep the well areas here with the magic eraser. I heard that that could help like rough it up enough that it's not that the paint's not separating on the palette. We'll find out. But I have a porcelain palette that I can set down in here too, so I'm not too worried about it. Eventually that goes away regardless, so I'm not too worried about it. I just did a little bit of prep and cleaning up because this palette was sitting at this art supply store for years. I know, for years. So it was pretty dirty actually. It didn't look like it at first, but once I started cleaning up, it's like, oh yeah, it's been around for a while. But it's not brittle or anything. You know how some plastic can get brittle after a while. This one is not. So that's good. The next one is Mission Gold Cerulean Blue. And it's not yellowed either. Some plastic palettes can yellow over time as well, which I hate. Okay. Then we're going to finish up the Mission Gold ones here. So those are going to come right down here. The next one is Mission Gold Phthalo Cyanine Blue. Their phthalo blue is so pretty. See, look at me go. Alrighty, being a nerd about the colors. Okay. Next one is Mission Gold Ultramarine Light. I hope you guys can hear me. I forgot to plug my microphone in. You know what? I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. So that was Ultramarine Light. Okay, we'll see if you guys can hear me any better now than in the beginning of the video, but sorry, I forgot to plug in the microphone. Alright, here we go. Next one is Mission Gold Cobalt Turquoise Hue. This is the only one called a hue in this set. Don't these look beautiful on this palette? Okay, next one is Mission Gold Viridian. Then we have Mission Gold Bamboo Green. Next is Mission Gold Cobalt Green Deep. Then Mission Gold Green Gold. I'm going to see how I do with this green gold without adding also the Daniel Smith Rich Green Gold. That may end up in one of these empty wells eventually because I really like that green gold a lot. Excuse me. But we'll see if I can just use that one or not. I can almost bet that the Daniel Smith one's going to end up in this palette, but we'll see. Next is Mission Gold Yellow Ochre number 2. Then we have Mission Gold Burnt Sienna number 2. Come on. Then Mission Gold Red Brown. The last Mission Gold color is going to be Van Dyke Brown. So we get our neutrals in there. And that is it for the Mission Gold Pure Pigment sets. I'll put back together here. Get that out of the way. Then let's do our specialty colors. So I'm going to be adding Daniel Smith's Undersea Green. And from here on out, these are not, as far as I know, none of these are going to be single pigment colors. All of them on the palette now are. And now we're getting into convenience colors. So our Undersea Green, I have no idea where I got such a tiny tube. I don't remember getting this of Undersea Green, but it works perfectly here. See how much I can squeeze out of there. I'll find my little tube ringer and get the rest of that out later. Or cut open the tube, one of the two. I'll use it. I do not waste paint. It's too expensive to be wasting. So I'm going to set this up here. And then we have Daniel Smith's Buff Titanium. Really useful color. Especially out here in the desert if you're doing landscapes. You're going to want that on your palette. Okay, the next is Rembrandt Spark Pink. And I have very little of this left, but what I have is going in here because I love this. I'm going to have to get a new tube of this really soon, if I can find it anywhere. Of course, I haven't looked online or anything for it yet. Oh, come on. There we go. Whew, that puppy was on there. So this is Spark Pink. What little I have left is going in here. So it's like a sparkly pearl with a pink hue. I'm gonna have to use my two bringer on this too. I'm not gonna bore you with that part. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, next is Daniel Smith's Quinacridone Coral. And then we have Daniel Smith's Moon Glow. Classic. Oh. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wells right here are going to remain empty. And then we're going to fill these 8 over here. And we'll start with Sennelier. This is Phthalo Green Light, I believe. Is that correct? Yes, Phthalo Green Light. Then we have Sennelier Light Gray. I hate the lids on Sennelier. Maybe I need to check out their bigger tubes or something. Maybe the lids are better. I don't know, but they're the hardest to open in my opinion. Light gray is such a pretty color. See, here I go. Okay. Next is Sennelier Phthalo Blue. And I know that puts 2 phthalo blues on my palette, and I'm okay with that. This one's special. I don't know why. It's different enough to me. So there's that. And now we're getting into some of my London, Winsor, Newton, the labels that show these were made in London. I don't know, I love them. So this one is Winsor Newton Phthalo Turquoise. And then this one is brand new, just got it yesterday. This is Ultramarine Violet from Winsor & Newton. So I'm just tripping over this one. It's so pretty. It's nothing like the label. You'll see. It's my ultraviolet. I love it. Okay. Then we've got Winsor & Newton Opera Rose. This was new, I bought yesterday also. This local art supply store that I gave a class in yesterday has several of these tubes from Winsor & Newton that were made in London, and I told her to hold all of them for me because eventually I'm going to own all the ones that she has. because I just love the formula. I don't know if it's just me being bougie and liking that it's from London instead of, where do they make them now, like Japan or something, or what, or China, I'm not sure, but I know they don't, it's not from London anymore, so it makes me feel like I have something bespoke or something. Anyway, this is a M. Graham color, Naples yellow. Look how bright their upper rose is. Oh my goodness. Here's our Naples yellow from M. Graham. And the last tube is the Old School Winsor & Newton Magnesium Brown. And this color is essentially rust. The color of rust. And I really love it. I love this color and the phthalo turquoise together. It's really beautiful. Anyway, so there's all of my colors poured in my palette. And we're going to swatch them. Set this here. Got a little swatch chart taped down. I've got two brushes that I picked to do this. I've got the Silver Black Velvet that I thought I'd probably like to use best, but just in case I need something a little bigger, I have this Flightum. It's Amazon, cheap little matte brushes, but I thought if I needed a bigger brush, I would use that one. I really like those brushes. I have a set of 4, and I keep them out because I really like them. But those are the first brushes that I've had that are, what are these called, like quill brushes or something. I've never had those before now, and I really enjoy them. So, get my water over here. So we're going to start just in the same order that we squeezed them out. Now these are fresh out of tube, so they're going to be pretty vibrant. You know what? I need to grab a towel here. There we go. Okay, so there's our lemon yellow, our permanent yellow light, now permanent yellow deep, you can see how nice and clean these Mission Gold pigments are. And beautiful and transparent and all that. Autumn orange. A little too much pink there. We're going to have red orange. red deep. And now Rose Madder. Quinacridone Permanent Rose. Quinacridone Permanent Magenta, is that correct? And Violet, hold on, make sure I gotta count this now. Cerulean, Cobalt, Diox, Violet, Magenta, yes. I don't want to mess this up. Look how pretty this color is. Quinacridone Violet. Dioxazine Violet. I contemplated putting in Daniel Smith's Carbazole Violet to replace this Dioxazine Violet, but it has several pigments in it. This is just one, and there's just a benefit to that. If I feel like I'm missing something like that, I'll add it to one of these empty wells. Cobalt Blue. And then cerulean blue. Super pretty so far. Okay. Then phthalo blue. And ultramarine blue. cobalt turquoise hue. So pretty. Viridian. Bamboo green. Cobalt green deep. Then we've got Mission Gold, Green Gold. See, this one to me is so much more yellow than the Daniel Smith Rich Green Gold. I may end up adding that back to this palette. Okay, yellow ochre number 2. Burnt sienna. Then red brown. Van Dyke brown. Now, Daniel Smith Underseed Green. Do some buff titanium. Spark Pink. Which you're really not going to be able to notice probably on video as much as in real life, but it's sparkly and pretty. Next is the Daniel Smith Quinacridone Coral. And the last one on this side is Moonglow. So now on this side, we've got our Phthalo Green Light from Sennelier. I might have went a little bit hard there, but there we go. I need to move that. Okay. Then Sennelier Light Gray. Next we have the Sennelier Phthalo Blue. And this is what I mean. This is Sennelier's Phthalo Blue. This is Mission Gold's Phthalo Blue. They are definitely different. Both beautiful, but definitely different. The next is the Winsor & Newton Phthalo Turquoise. Now, the Ultra Marine Violet, which is one of the new ones. I didn't get enough. There we go. Isn't it pretty? It's our ultramarine violet. Now our opera rose. Naples yellow. This is the Ingram color. And our last one is the magnesium brown from Winsor & Newton. That beautiful rust color that I love. So, there is the colors of our new studio palette. And I have room to grow here. And as you can see, I have this ceramic palette that I can actually place in here and use to mix if I want to, or I can mix directly on the plastic. But there's that. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'm going to tear these off here because it's satisfying. And I will be back with another video soon, probably with my oil painting practice. Who knows? Maybe watercolor, maybe oil, maybe acrylic. We'll see. But there is our color chart. That I will tape on top of the palette. Cut this and then I know what they all look like. So we're all set. Thanks for joining me, guys.